Hello and welcome. It's me, Marls44, and I'm back with another Cardfight Vanguard Crown Line deck profile. Today's deck profile, we have the Venus Trap that will trap you and reverse you. Maiden of Venus Trap reverse. So yeah, with the release of BT14, it was in the summer. We got this solid boss card for Neo Nectar. Now I've been learning and testing Neo Nectar and such, and that's why I didn't come out with a deck profile right away, like I would normally have, or done it after Zenith or something. I was planning on doing that, but the thing was I had to test it, I had to learn Neo Nectar better, and so I took the time, took a few months, and just learned the deck better, learned the clan better, and now I know how the clan and deck work. It's plus pressure, basically. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. But right before yeah, Venus Trap Reverse, a very, very good deck. There's lots of pressure, lots and lots of pressure in it, and quite a good hand size too. Racks up a nice hand. Very, defensive deck that can actually dish out a lot of pressure too. So it's that defensive pressure deck. Doesn't have field control, but doesn't need it. It's Neo Nectar. What? Why would we have field control? This is not Kagura. Alright, let's move into the deck, shall we? So our starter is Maiden of Physalis. So if you don't know what she does, you put it into your soul and attack Vanguard during the battle that this unit boosted and Neo Nectar. You can pay the cost, and if you do, you look at the top 5. Search for a grade for up to 1 grade 1, and then call it to rear guard as rest, and shuffle your deck. So it's, I noticed Neo Nectar's focus on checking the top 5 and adding a card to hand or putting it on the field or something, off of hitting or something, and that's kind of what Neo Nectar is, plus pressure. I mean, every deck is different, but this one has a lot of it. But yeah, so a really solid starter. Basically, like, a tutor, like a Conroe, Mecha Trainer. So it's that kind of thing, except it has to hit. So you could try to pressure with it early on, and your opponent may guard it if they want to. So, just solid starter though. And then we have 4, Maiden of Venus Trap Reverse. So if you don't know what she does, limit break 4, counterblast 1, choose one of your Neo Nectar rear guards and lock it, and then look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you call 1 Neo Nectar to the rearguard circle. It doesn't have to be an open rearguard circle, which is nice, and it gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So basically, Lucia Reverse, I think Lucia Reverse requires an open rearguard circle, or maybe it doesn't. No, I don't think it does. So basically, a Lucia Reverse difference is it comes from your deck instead of your soul, at the top of your deck instead of your soul, which is better for this deck, of course. Getting some pluses, but it's essentially the same thing, but there's no soul charging, so it uses the deck. So essentially same thing, and then it also has another skill, counterblast 1, and this unit gets 2,000 power until end of turn. So you can try to counterblast a few if you want to try to rack up damage. I mean, it's only a counterblast 1 limit break, so it's not too much damage that you'll take, but I mean, it's not too much damage that you will use up very quickly. Trust me, you do not use up damage really fast. Even with like 80 or grade 2s having counterblasts that focus on getting cards, it'll get guarded a lot. And I wasn't surprised that I only counterblasted 3 when the game was over. So you're able to use that counterblast to your potential, which is nice in the deck because you know how pressure heavy it is and with your hand, and then also you can counterblast for more power too on like a final turn or something, or just to push really hard when you need to. So that's really good. And onto our other grade 3s. 4, Lord of the Deep Forest, Master Wisteria. I don't even know how to say that. So if you don't know what he does, limit break 4, counterblast 1. When a Neo Nectar rides this unit, you may pay the cost, and if you do, you choose up to 2 your Neo Nectar rearguards, and then search your deck. For up to 1 card with same name as each of those units. Call them to separate rearguard circles, shuffle your deck, and then your Vanguard gets 10,000 power until end of the turn. And then its other skill is, when this unit is boosted by a Neo Nectar, it gets power plus 2,000 until end of turn on the Vanguard circle. So basically, essentially what it is you get a +2 for a Counterblast 1 when you break ride, and then plus 10,000. So it's pretty solid. Cloning stuff. It does mean you want to play multiples of stuff, but normally decks do that. So it's not a huge problem. But this deck's pretty solid on solid cards. I don't even know what that means. Let's just continue with what I was saying. But it's a really good break ride. Very, very solid for Venus Trap Reverse. I've found there have been times I don't have to use Venus Trap Reverse for a turn or two, just because I don't need it, because of the fact that this guy gives you 2 pluses for 1 counterblast. Venus Trap Reverse gets something plus 5,000, but you have to lock something, so essentially same thing. But yeah, he's just a really solid card and helps keep up with your pluses and such, and just a really, really good break ride for overall. Yeah, let's move on to our grade 2s. So we have 4. Come on, click it. 4 Maiden of Blossom. Wait, no, that's a grade 1. No one saw that. Alright, 4 Maiden of Cherry Blossom. So, what she does, if you don't know, is on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, you Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Neo Nectar Vanguard, you may pay the cost, and if you do, you search your deck for a Maiden of Cherry Stone, call it to Rearguard as rest, and then shuffle your deck. So essentially, she helps give you pluses. She basically just helps you give you boosters, which is really, really solid, and actually helps the deck function better, because you don't even have to worry about drawing boosters sometimes. You just hit with her, and you get a booster, and okay, well, I probably already have at least 1 booster in hand, so I really don't need to worry now about boosters. So it's hard not to have columns with this deck, I find, as well. A lot of the time, I find it's not hard to make columns as well, which is another solid thing about the deck, and she just really, really helps that, just getting those grade 1s. And the grade 1's really solid because it searches her out too, so it's kind of like a recurring process. And it goes into the soul and searches her out, so it's like a recurring process that you could just spam for a bit and get tons of pluses. If you can, though, it's not easy. But yeah, so as for our other grade 2s, Maiden of Rainbow Wood, you're just normal. Counterblast 2, if it hits, you draw a card. I was hesitant on running this first, but actually it's a very, very, very strong card in this deck. Reason being is the plus pressure, and I normally only hit with this thing once per game, so it's not a huge deal. It's just basically for pressure. You get a plus and then you pressure, and that's kind of how the other grade 2 worked. I only get it once or twice per game. This one I definitely only get it once per game, because it ensures a draw, which could be a 10k shield, so it gets guarded more often than the other one. That's why the other one gets to hit more, gets its pluses off more to get grade 1s. But yeah, just a really solid card to help keep up the plus pressure of the deck. And yeah, with all these pluses, it's just ridiculous too. And then we have, for our final grade 2s, 3 Iris Knight. Now, I did try to play the damage on flipper first, but I found I never needed it, because you really only use 1 counterblast for the break, one counterblast for the break ride, because you don't really get a second counterblast with the break ride, since you've already cloned. You'll have too big of a field to really do it. You'll have a full field by then. So if you break ride on break ride, you probably won't get the break ride again, even if you ride Venus Trap. You get 2 with Venus Trap, and then you get Cherry Stone or Rainbow Wood off. maybe heal off of damage and you get another cherry stone, but you don't overly get too much. Like you get pluses, but you don't get too much to unflip. So I found the damage unflipper was completely useless in this deck for that reason. And so the 10Ks just really, really solid. You can't be rushed down early on too, and it just makes it really solid. And it's a good ride if you don't get cherry stone, unless you've been pushed to 2 damage. Rainbow Wood would be nice to ride then. But yeah, let's move on to our grade 1s. So back to the one we thought was a grade 2 for Maiden of Cherry, of Blossom Rain, not Cherry. 4 Pgars. And then we have 4 Maiden of Cherry Stone. Sorry, I meant to say Cherry Bloom as a ride of grade 2. Cherry Stone is grade 1. So if you don't know what she does, you put this unit in your soul, and when attack hits that this unit boosted a Neo Nectar, attack hits a Vanguard, you may pay the cost, and if you do, you look for a Cherry Bloom and call it to rear guard. So it's kind of nice to just get another Cherry Bloom. Like, say you use the Cherry Bloom, you got this, boosted the Cherry Bloom, you hit, use her to search out another Cherry Bloom, and then use the Cherry Bloom that hit to get another one of her. So it's kind of nice. It's basically a +1, but it just ensures more pressure because you could get another one of these on the field the next turn because you have 2 Cherry Blooms. So it's nice, and it's just a really solid card that combos really well with plussing with Cherry Bloom. So you gotta play 4 of her. And then we have 4 Corolla Dragon. That was kind of debatable on this card at first, but there's not overly many great grade 1s to play in Neo Nectar, I found. And it's just a solid 8K, you know, helps you not get rushed. And it's just good for making columns as well. You know, solid 18, 19K columns just in case of cross rides and such. So it's just a solid card. There's really no other card that you can play that'd be better. And it's just really, really solid 8K. And then we have 2 Lady of the Sunlight Forest. So your Gojo, basic Gojo. Your Neo Nectar Gojo, I mean, you know, rest to drop and draw. Only 2 of them just because they're not overly needed, but they're nice once in a while when you near the end of the game when you want to just drop and draw something because of the fact that, you know, you have a big hand, but you have a few grade 3s and you want to get rid of one of them. So it's kind of nice, but I rarely use it. It's just good to have, just in case you run into that situation where you need a little more shield. Alright, so on to triggers. 4 Chestnut Bullet. 4 Queen of the Night Musketeer Danielle, so 8 crit. 4 Watering Elf, 4 stand, and 4 Sweet Honey, 4 heal. So let's move on to the stand and just quickly explain why I play this. Reason is, draw triggers are not very good in this deck because you draw so much that you don't need it. You get pluses so much that you don't need it. They're dead in the deck. That's what I found when I used them. And the stand trigger, or else I'd be playing rainbow triggers because the stand triggers are very, very good in this deck. And so the 8 crit's really solid because, well, everybody loves playing 8 crit. But the reason for 4 stand is because you want to use someone like that attacks and gets you a plus if it hits, like Morning. I did not just say that. Okay, apparently it's called Morning Wood now. No, Rainbow Wood. You want to use someone like Rainbow Wood. Attack with her first. Get your Vanguard to attack, whether you're in grade 2, grade 3, or even late game. And then it could get them to restand. Even Cherry Bloom too. Her as well. It gets them just to restand and try to pressure for pluses again, so either gets you a plus and gets you a damage on them. It'll get you a plus and a damage on them, or you'll just or they'll just guard it and they'll throw out shields. So you know, you don't want too many stands, so the 4 is good. You don't want more than that because then it's too but the plus pressure is just really important, and the 4 stands make it really, really solid. So that's why you run 4 stand, 8 crit, 4 heal. Morning wood. That's why you run it. Let's go with that. The reason is morning wood. That's a thing apparently. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining me in this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The deck list will be in the description below as always. Remember to like and comment and go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Let me know what deck profile you want to see next. Legion's coming out soon. I'll be hopping on those once I practice the deck. So if you want any of those either, let me know. And the link to my Twitter, Skype, and Facebook will all be in the description below. You can go and check those out. And I'll see you guys next time.